in India and Germany. I have a wonderful panel consisting of two guests. I will introduce them in a moment. But before I do that, I want to remind you that, as always, we try to bring in not just experts, but we also try to involve you, the viewers, into the conversation. And we do that through the platform called Slido that we will use to post some questions to you, but that you can also use to ask questions that you may have to our audience. And you can see the links here. There are different ways actually that you can access this platform, either through one of the two links. Both will get you to the same destination, or you can also snap a photo of that QR code that you can see here, and that will also bring you to the dedicated page of our Slido platform. And I encourage you to open that up, yet maybe start thinking about questions that you already have. And as we go through the session, I will post those questions to our panelists. Now, who are those panelists? We have two today, and the first one is Aishwarya Singh. Aishwarya is an assistant manager at the Ministry of Tourism, the government of India. And she has an impressive portfolio that involves work during India's G20 presidency last year. She's also a TEDx speaker, and she has a deep passion for the oceans, which I find wonderful because I think that's something that we both share. Her research in the blue economy and maritime tourism delves into crucial issues such as climate change, maritime security, and sustainable development, and it emphasizes the ocean's significant role in international relations. It's great to have you, Aishwarya. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
And our second panelist is Poonam Kaura, and she's a partner at Nangia Anderson India, where she leads the public sector business. She has over 2 decades of experience in business development and consulting, and she has helped redefine public sector engagements in digital transformation environments. She is an expert in the tourism industry, and she has been instrumental in policy making and promoting sustainable tourism in India and globally, which includes initiatives in Nepal, Sri Lanka, Peru, Egypt, and Trinidad and Tobago. And she also actively supports social initiatives focused on youth empowerment and healthcare in rural India, which is also, I think, a very interesting dimension. So we'll talk a little bit about the oceans, the ocean that surrounds India, the rural parts of India, and what role tourism may play there, and a few other things as well. Before we do that, let me once again, real quick, show the link to our Slido page for those viewers who have just joined. You can use any of those links there. They will all guide you or lead you to the same page where you can ask questions, and we will have a polling question for you in a moment. And actually, I think now is time to ask that first question. Give me 1 second. And the first question that we have is the following. What are the biggest challenges in implementing sustainability in tourism? Oh, that's an interesting and quite a big question. So please access the page and you can type in your answers and we will show them in a moment. While we do that, let me get to our panelists, and let me start by asking a very basic question about tourism in India. How has tourism in India evolved over the past decade or so? And I would like to focus on two things. One is domestic tourism within India, and the other is international tourism. So maybe Poona, maybe we'll start with you. What's your take on that? What has changed in the past decade?
India as a society is very content and they're very happy to be staying wherever they are staying. So travel and tourism was not one of their big, achievement or big aspirations. So in the last 1 decade, we've seen that people have actually started going out, people have started traveling around, and people have been not only exploring Indian destinations, but, in the near future or, what has gone by in last 5 years, we've seen that there is a major surge of especially the youth power who's now getting into travel and tourism in a big way and exploring international destinations in a very, very big way. It could be education, it could be culture, it could be heritage, it could be any kind of adventure tourism which inspires them to look at the new destinations. And I think I give a major credit here to our digital transformation, because today the kids or the youth are more hooked on to the media, the online media. So they look at those kind of websites, blogs, which shows them various different locations, which become very interesting for them, and make them decide to explore these new locations, maybe
Mhm.
India or internationally. So it's actually grown quite a lot in the last decade.
So you said it's been a cultural change in certain ways, this passion for traveling, for leisure. Is it also an economic phenomenon in the way that India's middle class has risen or is continuing to rise? More and more people who have also the means to think about something such as traveling for fun?
See, in the last decade, we've seen a rise and we've seen an economic transformation happening in India. Our buying powers are increasing. We are looking at the youth start earning at an early age. Most of them, they start working as soon as they're doing their graduation. In this case, it is something which inspires them to look around, to look at the new destinations, because when they start earning, they'll start realizing that they have wings and they can start flying on their own. Before, I mean, if I look at maybe more than 10 to 15 years back, we were all hooked onto our parents and we would say that we'll go for travel or tourism with our parents. But now you'll find a lot of solo travelers who are going from India because they have the power to spend, and they look at the various opportunities which have come up because of the Airbnbs or the homestays, which are more economical and they're easy to spend. And with the aviation industry going up in such a drastic manner, it has seen that the tickets have become very low cost. People can now travel with a backpack. They don't need to carry huge luggage. They have Airbnbs, they have budget airlines. So that opens door for them. And of course, the major thing is the buying power, and the dependency on their parents have gone down. I mean, if you look at the Indian culture, Indian families, they were all very, conservative, and they were always going out with their parents. But today it's changed. They look at their friends, they look at those peer
Yes.
groups. That's changed. So culture, yes, it's changed in a major way,
So both culture and economy.
and the
Aishwarya,
economy.
we've heard about the rise of tourism within India, by Indians, both traveling within their country and abroad. What about international tourism to India? I mean, that's not a new thing. I think, I mean, India's highlights have attracted people from around the world for a long decade. Is that something that has still grown for, past a decade or so? Or is it just on a stable high level?
If you talk about the inbound tourism, what India attracts. So, in the last decade, India has tried to establish itself as a major, tourism destination with Incredible India campaign,
Hmm.
and government has also come up with Incredible India 2.0. Last year, we celebrated Visit India year 2023. So all these initiatives have actually impacted foreign tourist arrivals, and for I would like to bring this up. Before COVID-19, Germany was the leading inbound travel market for India along with the France. So if you look at the figures, uh, how foreign tourists visit, how much they would like to visit India, so the numbers were really going great before COVID. And yeah, the major shift, I'll say, has come after the COVID-19 pandemic, both in domestic travel and in international travel also. People now there was a concept going on during COVID-19, like when the when we were relaxing the travel regulations that work from mountains. So people today do not only want to travel or explore the places. The young generation, what we were listening from the other panelists before, they are looking for they are turning more responsible travelers. They don't just want to explore and travel, they want to contribute also. They are very much aware about over tourism, problem of over tourism, how there are certain destinations they are facing troubles because of over tourism. So people are becoming more aware. The concept of solo traveling has, yes, increased. And then the female number of female travelers, as we were discussing, that yeah, India was not very open to the, like women traveling alone, or was also not considered very open for the travelers, for the even international travelers. But there are changes happening. And if you talk about the, I just want to tell one figure. The How UNWTO estimates the sustainable global tourism market. It was estimated at USD 2.73 trillion in 2023, and for the upcoming decade the projections are around USD 9.17 trillion by 2032. So that shows how promising this service industry is. And yes, India is making itself a very appealing brand to travel, take it for domestic tourists or for international. So yes, change is coming. And yeah, because of COVID-19, the whatever the progress happened in last decade, it has slowed down. But yeah, tourism industry is picking up again, and I believe it looks promising.
Thanks
There's
for
one
highlighting the.
point
Yes, go ahead,
I would
Poonam.
like to highlight here. It's become revenge traveling now. So you'll find a lot of people are traveling like left and right. The tourism numbers, both inbound and outbound, have been jumping every few months, and we are seeing a major, flow of inbound and outbound tourism all across the globe. So that's something, they call it revenge tourism, but that's actually given a major hike to the industry, which was actually in a very bad shape during the COVID time, as
Okay.
Aishwarya said.
That's an interesting term. That's revenge on the pandemic, basically. We're
Yeah, so
getting
they
back
call it
at COVID.
revenge tourism.
Okay, that's an interesting concept. I just wanted to follow up with Aishwarya. So you highlighted some of the changes also to international tourism. Now, as someone who's in charge of promoting India's diversity, is how do you handle the challenge of this? I mean, huge, but also very diverse country in terms of touristy experiences. And I know that, I mean, there's some kind of highlights. Everyone has heard about the Taj Mahal, of course, but how do you manage to also promote the lesser known destinations within that large country? Isn't that also a challenge that people fall back into kind of the old well-known cliches of the few highlight destinations, the Taj Mahal, Mumbai, maybe a few others? How do you manage that?
See, how we perceive it as yeah, they are, because every destination has its carrying capacity limit. For example, Agra, Taj Mahal is witnessing over tourism. So yes, India is trying to come up with its diverse offering. And a very recent example I'll say was the G20 summit. Like it was
Yeah.
historic summit. None, like no other country has conducted
Yeah.
like so many G20 meetings in such diverse locations. And then the tier 2, tier 3 cities, that was a very fine example, I'll say, to showcase that not only the metro cities, the very few known major cities of India has the potential to to host such large scale events or summits. There are cities, they are emerging as very good MICE destinations. come meet in India. We are also promoting India as a MICE destination, as a for different segments. I'll say India is targeting. India is actually developing strategic policies to target certain class of tourists. So it is
Mhm.
like for for adventure lovers. We have adventure destinations, so we will be focusing, we'll be promoting, we would like through our campaigns, through our advertisements. We are targeting adventure tourism, also adventure tourists who want to
Mhm.
experience India
Okay.
as an adventure destination for
Yeah.
mice. So yes, so it is like that for every segment. For medical tourists, India is becoming a hub for medical tourists, considering our the potential we have, and then the services we provide. So we have every like we have something for each segment. The only thing is we need to strategically plan and target those tourists. So that way India
Understood.
is
Yeah.
marching, I'll say.
Interesting, and it's good that you
You know,
mentioned the G20. I was also involved in that process, and in fact, for those of you who
You
haven't been following that, so India tried to make sure that all those meetings, conferences, that they were basically spread out all over the country, not just all happening in Delhi and
Yes,
a few other
like
cities. And one
more
of the
than
places
60
that I got to go
destinations.
to, say that again.
What was that?
more than 60
Yeah, what
destinations.
was that
Okay, I
destination
wasn't
where
aware of
you
that.
visited?
Yeah. But I got to go to Mysore as part of
Yeah,
my
over 200
participation in the
meetings
Think 20
in.
process. Beautiful place. I can very much recommend that, by the way. So that was also a
Yeah.
practical example where I could experience that. But it's interesting, and I guess it's also a challenge sometimes to overcome conceptual,
Yes.
concepts that people have, perceptions of a country, what it is and what it isn't, if you're trying to promote some thing else. Good. We've talked about tourism. We talked about growth. So signals seem to be gearing towards growth, and that's where at least sustainability comes in, because of course, if we want to grow, we have to ensure that we do it in a sustainable way. And I would like now to look a little bit at the results of the question that we posed to our audience. And to remind you, the question was, what are the biggest challenges in implementing sustainability in tourism? And here's what our participants wrote. The first one is actually a question. We'll address that. How is India implementing sustainability? We'll address that in a moment. Okay, so we have a few things that we might want to talk about. Poonam, let me get to you. So, air travel aviation was also mentioned. There is a big boom in infrastructure construction right now going on in India, not just in the aviation business, but also, I don't have the exact number, maybe you have it, but there's a lot of airports that are either being constructed or have already been finished in the recent times. India is now, I believe, the country with the biggest number of aircraft on order in world history. So there is a
Yes.
lot of new flights that will be added, and of course that comes
Mhm.
with a burden on sustainability. We all know that the carbon footprint, especially in air travel, is quite large. So, what is India's strategy for making sure that this growth that the country expects in terms of tourism, also needs maybe, is realized in a sustainable fashion?
It's a really very interesting thing to talk about. Today, everybody is talking about sustainability without actually realizing that what exactly does it mean. ILO has defined it as three pillars: social justice, and they're talking about economic development and environment integration. Now, when you talk about our airports, you rightly said that we are coming up with a lot of them. We have a target of 178 airports to come up in next decade, and we are already on the way. And we are actually every 3 months you'll hear about a new airport which is coming up. But the government is also looking at creating a sustainable environment. I've been working very closely with the Rajasthan government, and they're going to have approximately 20 plus airports in the near future in just the state of Rajasthan. They want to develop it like a sustainable tourism destination. So, what they're saying is that let's not just make them a business hub, let's also make it sustainable by getting more and more travel and tourism involved with these smaller airports. So, they want to develop these airports as tourist destinations with tying up with various, it's like private public partnership where they want to have entertainment hubs which can be created near these airports, totally funded by these private partners, where the government will be giving some incentives to them to make it more of, sustainable growth, where they're talking about getting the community involved in this. They're asking about developing livelihood options for these communities. Because if you're talking about these airports, naturally you're talking about developing it like trading hubs, creating ethnic parks where the communities can come and display their produce, creating manufacturing environment for them, which is again public partnership with the private holders, creating entertainment parks. So there again, we are talking about livelihood, we're talking about community participation, we're talking about skilling and training these people. So it becomes more of a sustainable environment in these locations. We work very closely with, the government is working very closely with Responsible Tourism Society of India, which works majorly on sustainable tourism, how we can make more of eco city, eco environment or eco friendly environment where we can have plastic free environments. We create a lot of kiosks and those kind of things, so that we ensure that not only the communities who are working in the tourism sector, but even the travelers who are coming to these destinations are also aware that let's make it a green place, because it's not only for us, it's for the future generations. Just think about the kind of garbage we collect when we go to a tourist destination. We eat, we spread things, and you know how all the families, when they get together, they forget about all these kind of things. So we're trying to create all these kind of things. Government is actively working on it. There is Swachh Bharat mission, then there is how it is integrated with the tourism, making it sustainable, making it more friendly towards the travelers and tourists who come to India, or the Indians who are going abroad. So that's how we try to build up a sustainable environment, develop India more as a tourist safe place where, as Aishwarya rightly said, that the girl, especially when we look at the European travelers who come to India, are usually the youth, and then there are a lot of girls who come and enjoy. So we are trying to develop these secure and safe places for these women, even in the smaller towns, which we are developing. Like there is another thing which we are working on, which is called the Buddha circuit or the Rama circuit. I'm sure you recently saw how Ayodhya, which is a very small city in India, has been developed as a global tourist destination, not only for travelers and tourists, but also for religious purposes. So we are working on that. A lot of sustainable initiatives are being taken by the government, and a lot of funding is coming from the bilateral agencies also to ensure that it becomes a place to visit for any and everybody in India.
That's an excellent segue to the first question that we have from our audience, and I'll show it to you here. And the question is it the role of businesses, such as airlines, or is it the role of government to promote sustainable tourism? Aishwarya, what's your take on that?
It's a combined effort, I'll say. No one entity can, because sustainability is a approach. It's not a form of tourism, or it's not a one take shot. Both the businesses and the governments, and the tourists also, they all need to work together very consciously, very ambitiously. Then only we can go ahead with the concept of sustainability in tourism. So it's not a any single entity's work. That's my take.
And I really believe that sustainability is something which minimizes the negative impact and maximize the positive impact. Now, this has to be a community participation. So, like I said before, also that it's public private participation. So, we cannot expect the government can start it, but the community has the responsibility to take it forward. So, that's why we call it sustainable, because sustainable is something which ultimately becomes a part of the social society or community. They have to take it forward. We set up systems, we set up processes, but if they don't maintain it, then it doesn't say that the government didn't try doing something. So it's, as Aishwarya rightly said, that it has to be both ways. It cannot be just the government or just the community.
Let me just show our Slido screen once again for those who have joined recently. If you go to one of those links or snap a photo of the QR code, that will take you to our Slido page where you can ask questions to our panelists, and I very much encourage you to do so. Now, Aishwarya, let me turn to what I introduced as your passion, which is the oceans and maritime tourism. Now, India has a very long coastline, obviously, so a lot of potential for maritime or sea-based tourism. That being said, I think at least looking at it from the European perspective, it's not the first country that people would probably think of when it comes to, say, a beach vacation. Yes, we know people know about Goa and the beautiful beaches there, but I think generally India is more known for other things. So, first question: what has India to offer when it comes to maritime tourism, and how are you trying to promote that particular aspect of India?
Yes. So I'll start with that long coastline part. Yes, India has very good around 7,500 kilometers of coastline when it comes, and when it comes to maritime tourism, it is a untapped potential, I'd say, which India has not yet utilized. We are diverting our initiatives and moves towards it. Very recently, government of India has drafted a blue economy draft policy, which mentions maritime tourism as a major growth factor, as a strategic pillar in the policy. So yeah, in comparison to the developed and matured European destinations, Europe has done really great when it comes to cruise tourism. So while when I started my research, so this was one of the factor which I strongly believe, that when it comes to regional tie-ups, partnerships, so cruise tourism is one such segment where India can learn so much and can partner with European destinations which are very well developed, very well known, when it comes to maritime tourism. See, this maritime vision has it has recently shifted to the Indian Ocean region. The IOR has long been perceived as a ocean of the South. So because of the recent because of the 21st century's geopolitical the parameters, I'll say, and then how international relations have shaped up. World's major powers are now interested in Indo-Pacific, as it is now not called as Asia Pacific. So major powers are interested in Indo-Pacific now, and this has made India realize its geographical advantage, because we are located at a very crucial maritime choke point when
Are
it
you
comes to
also
India. Major of the world's trade passes through. Yeah.
You mentioned the kind of more mature
Yes, you were
mature
asking.
tourist destinations in Europe, maybe also in Asia, places such as Thailand, for example, who have been very active in attracting international
Yes, yes.
tourism, also coastal or beach-related tourism for a long time. Are you also looking at some of the mistakes that
Yes.
have been made there, and what are you trying, or what is India trying to do to avoid those mistakes, especially when it comes to sustainability, mass tourism, all those issues? What are you trying to do differently?
Uh, India, the first, a very recent concept when it comes to measuring the when we plan a destination, and when it comes to maritime destinations, it becomes even more crucial. Maritime spatial planning is one such aspect which government of India is looking into, and like for example, I'll say Lakshadweep. We want to develop Lakshadweep as a major destination, as a very good, adventure and maritime uh, tourism destination. But we are not doing it at the cost of the, the what are the limitations that small island has. So there is limited amount of the land area which we have. There is a limited amount of water what we have in the islands. So India is trying to develop the destinations, even that goes with the coastal part also. We are trying to develop the destination, but not at the cost of environmental degradation, or not. We are involving communities, the coastal communities, with the Sagarmala initiative, with the we are trying to train the local communities. We are trying to it's not only about that making the destinations accessible to all without considering the carrying capacity of the destination. So that is very well taken care of. That's why I'll say it's taking time also, because we are developing very thoughtful and responsible maritime destinations. So we have just started, but yes, sustainability is at the forefront of all the government's agenda and initiatives, and we are involving communities also in those prospects.
Linked to that, we have another question from our viewers, and that question is the following: what kind of tourism will improve economic growth the best? Poonam, what's your take? Is there one kind of tourism that is best?
You know, looking at the way we are moving forward, sustainable tourism is the only solution. And that's the reason, our Pradhan Mantri, our Prime Minister, has been trying to promote tourism in locations which are not on the map right now. I work very closely with the state of Sikkim, and Sikkim, most of the people really do not know, although it is much more beautiful than Switzerland. But then, because we are not promoting it, the reason we are not promoting it is there is no community participation. So when we say sustainability, it means that there has to be community participation. Once there is community participation, that means we are encouraging livelihood options for them. So what we as project management unit try and work with the states is that the first thing we do is to develop the communities, do skill development and capacity building for them so that they know how to be closer and know how to attend to a tourist or a traveler who's come to their destination. It could be the language, it could be their soft skills, it could be their, food, which needs to be given, hygiene. That's one of the most basic thing, and basic amenities. So what we are trying to do is that we are trying to develop these smaller locations as tourist destinations with getting the community involved in it. So it could be ecotourism, or we now call it the green tourism, or adventure tourism, or trekking. That is one of the major things why we see a lot of Europeans come to India, because for them, the Himalayas are one of the major reason to do trekking. Now, if we do trekking and we take good care of the travelers who are coming to do trekking, I think we've solved, because number one, you're giving livelihood to the guides, you're giving livelihood to the community who's serving those people. And of course, sustainability is all along there. We are earning good money, and that's the only way that it can actually lead to economic development of pan India, not just the locations which are seen on the map as tourist destinations. It's high time we started looking at these places which are not on the map. Like Aishwarya rightly said, that Lakshadweep is another place where not many people know. Or Andaman Islands are another one which has better beaches than Maldives or Mauritius. They've got all white beaches. We are not promoting them because there is no community participation. We need to do that. And I think that will lead to economic development in a very, very big way.
We've talked about tourism as an engine for economic growth, obviously, for improving people's livelihood. We've also talked about sustainability, how to achieve that with as little sustainability impact as possible. But there's also this aspect of cultural exchange in the sense that, when you travel, you get to know other people, other cultures, you increase the interaction between peoples. How can we develop or structure tourism that it also achieves those goals, so that people that are visiting another country, whether these be Indians coming to Germany or Germans coming to India, that they not just experience the natural beauty, the hospitality, but that they also get to contribute something to cultural exchange? Aishwarya, is there a way to do that?
Yes, I'll take it back to the history. How Tagore Center is promoting Indian culture, art, and heritage in Germany, starting from 1994. When it comes to when a foreign tourist visits India, uh, if he or she is only here for a specific purpose or specific like for example, if someone is here for a medical treatment, so if someone is here for adventure, so those will only be, I believe, the points where the foreign tourist will not experience. Otherwise, India is known as land of festivals. We have festivals showcasing, we are showcasing our cultural and regional diversity all along the year. So now many of our even tour packages are designed based on the local festivals, considering the festivals. So many of the tourists are actually, when they are visiting, they are getting the local flavors of India. They are getting they're getting to know very closely how Navratri is celebrated, for example, how if they are visiting during the like early what has recently happened is there's Run of Kutch festival in Gujarat.
I have another
So
question. Yeah.
major of the there's desert festival in Rajasthan. So major
Yeah.
of the itineraries are now, yes.
Sorry, I have another question from the audience that I want to
So that's what.
show to
Yeah,
you. And that is actually it's a beautiful one because it's about mutual learning, and that's always something that we try to do in our formats. Is that we always see, what can we learn from each other? What can Germany learn from India, and vice versa? So this question goes exactly into that direction. What initiatives can Germany and India learn from each other to promote sustainability in tourism, whether it's domestic or internationally? Aishwarya, do you want to start? And then I'll give Poonam the chance to add to that.
yeah. When it comes to India, Germany, first I would like to pinpoint some of the areas where we are actually we are lagging behind arrivals. India has recorded for the I have data for the year 2022. So Germany was ranking 8th in terms of foreign tourist arrivals. That was accounting for almost 2.01 percentage of the total foreign tourist arrivals, with which India accounted. So that shows a very less number. Post COVID, the number is the major contributors were US and Bangladesh. This trend showcases that there is a lot more tourism that India can generate from Germany, yes. And when it comes to Indian people visiting Germany, the major portion constitutes of the student exchanges. Students travel to Germany for studies, and then the businessmen, nurses, traders, technocrats are the major people who travel. What Germany could learn from India is India is very is a developing destination when it comes to even tourism also. As I said, European destinations are established and matured destinations. India can learn in terms of maritime tourism, in terms of cruise, in terms of heritage and culture, yeah, Germany has almost 52 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So that ways India and Germany can foster a relationship on, even though they are doing good on economic and strategic partnerships. Germany is one of the largest trading partner for India. uh, India needs to develop a targeted strategy to attract German tourists, I would say, because of the long haul flight destinations and then the visa restrictions. Yeah, not many. And then a very prominent point is that world outside India does not have a clear understanding of what India is actually. So that
Yeah.
goes with the Germans also. They really they consider India as a very far away and complicated destination, which actually India is not. So in in this way, India needs to make it clear to the, and that change has already started, I believe.
Good.
So it
Yeah.
looks promising, and I believe near future, yes, yes. You also will be visiting, more Indian destinations other than
I
the
hope.
G20
I hope.
participation, what you
I
said.
hope.
So that's what we,
Yes. I look forward to
yes.
it. Poonam, anything you'd like to add in terms of learning
Yes,
experiences that we can
I
make?
yeah, I actually don't agree with Aishwarya in that. India has been always an attraction for the Europeans. If we go back in the 17th century, that was the first time the Germans, the Portuguese, the Spanish came to India. And that was the time when the first German, I wouldn't say ambassador, but, people came to India and they were so fascinated by India that they started translating our cultural heritage books, all those, periodicals in German language, and they took it back with them. It's just that the diplomatic relationship, I think, started with Germany after the World War, where it became really comfortable for both India as well as Germany. And we've been seeing that Germany has been recognized as a global leader in sustainability. So I think India as a tourist destination, we are the biggest, because you talk about beaches, you talk about mountains, you talk about desert, you talk about any kind of land, we have it. We are religious, we
And
have ecotourism, we have medical tourism, and believe you me, I've seen a lot of Germans who've been coming to India. Maybe it is more of the youth who love coming to India. I mean, I was in Jaisalmer recently, and can you imagine, my guide tells me the best tourists are the Germans. They really love the German tourists and travelers, because they believe in keeping time. They are neat and clean. They don't spread, the garbage around. They're very happy and comfortable. I think we
Well, thank you very
need to
much. And thank
learn.
you also for pointing out that, there's indeed, I think, been a long-standing fascination of Germans with India, going back to scholars. And just a fun fact, you know that, of course, but maybe not all of our viewers, is that there was a famous scholar of Sanskrit, Max Müller, is his
Yes,
name, and he was so important for German-India relationships that the Goethe Institute, which is a worldwide network of cultural institutions run and funded by the German governments, they're called Goethe Institute all over the world after the famous German writer, except in
Maximum.
India where they are called Max Müller Bhavan. So that, I think, also tells you something about the long-standing history of a
Correct.
relationship between India and
And
Germany.
can you imagine? We have 20,000 students every year learning German in Max Miller Bhavans. That's such a big number. That shows that culturally we are so. I mean, I still remember, there was a saying by one of your leaders saying that we all come from the same mother. That is, he said that we are all Aryans, and Germans and Indians come through the same race. So somehow he was trying to connect Indians and the Germans by saying that. But yeah, I mean, keeping that aside, I really feel that there are a lot of things which are happening between India and Germany. We recently signed up in 2022 a consultation which Germany rarely does it with anybody. So we feel privileged to be a part of that. We are going in a very, very big way. India has to learn from Germany sustainability, because we are still, as Aishwarya rightly said, developing nation, and there are a lot of things where we lag behind in the pillars of sustainability, where Germany stands at the top. But looking at the exchange programs that's happening, we need to actually develop tourism in a better way, because tourism is something which I think both Germany as well as India has really not seen it seriously. Looking at the India visits to Germany has been very, very low, something like 6 lakh 33 nights. It's something approximately in a year which has been captured, which needs to grow. The reason which I can assure you, or I can tell you from my personal experience also, when I traveled to Europe, I went to Austria, Switzerland, and one night in Germany. I wish I knew about more places to visit, which now I think there is a campaign which has been started by Germany National Tourism Board. They're talking about various different tourism opportunities for the travelers and tourists to come to Germany. So I wish I knew about that. That could increase, the stays of Indian tourists in Germany.
That's a good point. And Germany obviously is a much smaller country than India, but it's also a diverse country. And indeed, there is probably more to the country than many people outside of it
Yes.
think or expect. So it's not all Bavaria, it's not all Lederhosen, as beautiful as that part of the country is. I'm actually from the north. I'm from a city called Hamburg. So next time you or anyone else travels to Germany, please do let me know, and I'll try my very best to give you some advice, maybe off the beaten tracks, so that we can
I
also
think,
increase diversity of tourism here.
yeah, we need a digital footprint. I mean, if you look at it, whenever we
Yeah.
talk about European tourism, there is Switzerland, Austria, all those countries which are being, really promoted quite a lot, which is not happening with Germany.
So we're already getting to the end of the session, but I want to end with something where I ask you about your personal opinion. And I know that's going to be hard, but can you give our viewers just one recommendation of a place in India that is maybe not so well known? If you just had to choose one, because we don't have time for more, which place would you recommend our viewers to visit? Aishwarya, what would that be? Maybe something along the coastlines?
Yes, yes. It's Rameshwaram. It's a small island town, at the southernmost tip of India, in the state of Tamil Nadu. So Rameshwaram is seen as a spiritual destination, as a religious destination, but it's a life-changing destination, I'll say.
Okay.
Rameshwaram is the place.
Very interesting. Yeah, I'll make sure to look that up after our session. Puna, what would you
Yes.
recommend?
Yeah, yeah. Please do.
There is a place called Spiti Valley. It's Lahore Spiti, which is a destination I would recommend all people. In fact, I met a couple there who had come from Germany, and the gentleman was from England, and the lady was from Germany, and they were cycling up to Spiti Valley. That's a place I think we would really suggest that people should go there, and people who are coming from Germany should look at the kind of green environment which is there. Beautiful valleys are there, beautiful river is there, and the best part is the climb to the Himalayas. So I think I would suggest that, because I'm sure Aishwarya loves the marine life. I love the mountains. So, this is something which I would, aspire and instigate people to really look at the Spiti Valley, which falls under Himachal Pradesh.
Very interesting. And since you made two recommendations, I'll also add one from Germany to have a rounded experience. And I would recommend visitors from India and anywhere else actually in the world to come and visit an area called the Ruhrgebiet, which is in the western parts of Germany. It's a traditionally industrial area. And but it's been transformed in large parts today, so you can see there a lot of museums or historic places of the Industrial Revolution, including old coal mines and stuff like that. And it's a very, very nice mix nowadays between those old industrial testaments and nature that has also been re-established over the past couple of decades. So it's a very, very interesting and not usually very well-known destination for tourism. So that's what my recommendation would be for your next visit to Germany. We've come
That's
to
so
the end.
lovely. I mean, we would
Yes.
really love to promote Germany in India because now the travelers and the tourists are really looking at newer and locations
Yeah.
which are not seen by anybody and everybody. So I think that's
Great.
really a good recommendation.
I think there is a great potential for tourism both ways. I think that helps our economies in India and Germany. It helps all of us learn, be enlightened, be entertained, and we've highlighted a little bit how we can do that in a sustainable way. So I think that was a wonderful discussion here today. I would like to thank my two panelists, of course, as always, for this very spirited conversation. I would also like to thank the audience for being here with us and for asking questions, for answering our poll. That was it for today. And of course, we have another session coming up next month. So please make sure to join us there. We're streaming live both on LinkedIn and on YouTube. And you can obviously also go to our website. You can see the URL here. You can sign up to our mailing list and find all sorts of information about our other activities there. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank you so much. And it was really a pleasure talking to you, and looking at Indo-German relationship is a dream which should come true sooner.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Great meeting you, Aishwarya.